Welcome into sportsbookreview.com. My name is Christopher Giannini. This is the week number 7 opening line show for sportsbookreview.com. I appreciate you joining me this evening. We've got a lot to get into before we get started. Sportsreview.com, your number one stop for all your gambling needs. They've got all the information about the lines, the teams, the games, everything you could want, not just for college football, what we're talking today. They've got NFL, they've got Major League Baseball, they've got hockey, they've got soccer, they've got basketball, they've got anything you could possibly want. They got information for it. Go there. You can find all you need. Get into the games. Now, we do this every week, guys. You know this by now. Before we move forward to week number 7, we always take this moment to look back and do a little bit of recapping here. Week number 6 was the most insane, ridiculous, and unbelievable weekend of college football that not just this year we've had, but for several years going forward, we haven't seen a weekend like this, and it was just spectacular. Biggest winners. I got 3 every week. I'm going to give you 3 this week. You cannot start this show without the biggest winner of them all. That is Texas A&M. The huge balls of Jimbo Fisher and Zach Calzada and a kicker named Smalls and everything else. Just destiny and mystique and voodoo and magic and everything was just electric at College Station Saturday night. Biggest winners of the weekend, taking down the giant, the bully that is Nick Saban and Alabama. Gone. No more are they undefeated. No more are they number 1 in the country. They shouldn't have been to begin with, by the way. Preseason rankings are trash. You shouldn't use them at all. Georgia's been the best team since the year started. They're now at number 1. We didn't need to see Bama get beat by Texas A&M to know that. This is my problem with that. All is right in the universe. We're okay. Moving on. Biggest winner, number 2. Kinnick Stadium. I told you was going to be a crazy place in Iowa. University of Iowa takes down Penn State. Soon as Penn State's starting quarterback goes down, I thought it's just a matter of time, guys. This is a field position game. This is a game of attrition. And as soon as Penn State began to have the injury problems, it was just a matter of time for that unbelievably the relentless defense of Iowa was going to eventually get to them, and it did. It happened over and over and over, and Iowa just field goaled their way back and then got a big touchdown at the very end to take the lead. And once they got the lead, they weren't afraid at all. They just kept punting and backing Penn State up and knew this team can't get first downs. That they damn sure can't drive and score on us. Iowa, big winner this year so far. Number 2 in the country, rightfully so. And my third big winner, look, I'm going to talk about them twice tonight. Just forgive me, okay? I think they've earned it. I think they've deserved it. It is a team from my favorite city in the country. We're talking about UMass. Got the first win in several years. If you didn't watch the scene in the locker room, them celebrating their first victory, there are guys on this team that have been here for years that have never experienced victory. It's one of the reasons I love this ridiculously crazy, insanely stupid sport right there, is seeing that scene. If you haven't seen it, find the internet, look up UMass's win 2021, and you're gonna get to it. Okay, just an unbelievable thing for those players, those coaches. These guys work so dang hard week in and week out to finally get a victory. They're big winners. I left a lot of people off that probably deserve to be on this list to make sure I put them on it. I thought that was important. Get to the biggest losers. You know me. I got to be negative at some point in time. All right, BYU. The reason I liked BYU this week is the same reason I've liked BYU all year. I said BYU does 2 things, okay? They don't do 2 things. They never turn the ball over, and they don't commit penalties. BYU had 75 yards in penalties. They almost had an entire field of penalties, all right, in this game. It was ridiculous. They played out of character. They played out of sorts. They had 4 turnovers, okay? Just a trash performance. This is a team that I don't want to use this phrase because he's famous and he does another show and he has a catchphrase. It's fine. But this is a team that was believing in themselves. They were listening to too many good things being said about them. And they had a team like Boise, who was desperate for a big win, come into their house and slap them around. You should be ashamed of yourself. BYU, get it together. Take this as a wake-up call. You got a big, big game this week. Don't get beat twice because you let yourself down once. Second team, biggest loser. This one was actually surprising to me. So if you watched the opening line show, someone asked my opinion on the North Carolina Florida State game. And I wasn't going to talk about it. I was avoiding it because I thought Florida State had a chance to do something special. I thought it was interesting that Mack Brown has never beaten Florida State in his entire coaching career, played them like 12 times. And the line was 12. And I said on the show, I'm going to take Florida State and the points. And I wasn't going to tell anybody. This was like a little secret I was going to keep to myself, kind of because I was ashamed of it. But I was going to put a little money on the money line because I think Florida State might have something for them. I went throughout the entire day Saturday, all the chaos, all the craziness, watched the fight after the Alabama game. And then after that, I went to bed. I was exhausted. It was a long day of football. And I woke up this morning, Sunday morning, and the first thing I thought of was, did Florida State cover? I didn't even think they would have won, because if they won, I would have heard about it, because I did watch a lot of SportsCenter. I watched a lot of sports news, and I was on Twitter a lot checking sports stuff out. Not only did they not cover, they won the game outright, and they kind of won it handily. They won by double digits, and my first immediate response, UNC immediately was going into the loser's bracket, not for getting beat. No. My expectations of them are a lot lower than what they used to be. They're in the loser's bracket now because they've reached a point of irrelevancy. When you are a double-digit favorite and you get beat by double digits by the team that you were a favorite over, and it doesn't even make the news, like nobody even talks about it, that is when we've reached a point where your team and your program, nobody thinks about but you. I'm going to tell you this. I don't know if you can see because of the way we have to frame the video when it comes up. There's a Cleveland Browns little emblem on my back wall, okay? For the majority of my life, this is a team that was completely irrelevant. Not just bad, irrelevant, okay? You can be good, you can be terrible. Both those things are bad. You can't be irrelevant. And that is not a place UNC wants to find themselves. I don't know how they pull themselves out of that, by the way. I don't know the answer. I don't think it's just winning football games, because they've won some big games this year. They've won some exciting games this year. I still remember, I've burned into my image in my head the Virginia game. Like, I don't know what you do when nobody even wants to talk about you, not even in a negative light. That's bad. And then the biggest loser of them all is Texas. When you're up, when you have the lead that you have against Oklahoma, your biggest rival, and you have them beat, and you can't put your foot on their throat and end it, and not only that, but you allow them to come back in a game in which you have complete and utter control, not just to win, but to take the win and to cover. No, you are the greatest loser of the weekend. You are. That's it. Nope, it's not just losing a rivalry game. That's a coin flip game. If you would have won it or if you'd have lost it, it'd have been no big deal. But when you're up 28-7 and you're dominating this football game, you can't lose it. You just can't. You're just not allowed. Can't happen. Biggest loser. Moving on. The bad beat of the week, Texas. If you had Texas plus 3.5, you had a bad beat, because that was free money after the first quarter. It was free money after the second quarter. You could have taken that to the bank and they would have cashed it in the third quarter. It was over. And somehow they played so badly in the fourth quarter. They pissed that game away. They lost the game. They lost the cover. It was over. Single game Heismans. I got 3 of them for you. I'm going back to the one we talked about earlier. Zach Calzada. Can't have this list without him. 21 of 31 for 285 yards and 3 touchdowns. Guys, in the first half, the ball didn't hit the ground, okay? He had 1 incompletion, quote unquote, and it was an interception. That was it. He was almost perfect in the first half. Second half, not so great, but in the fourth quarter of the last 2 to 3 drives when they needed him, man, Zachy Big Balls just showed up, and he showed up in the biggest way possible with when it looked like that freight train at Alabama finally got the wheels moving. And he said, no, sir, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to stop it right now. Single game Heisman number 2. I'm going to my Washington State Cougars, the Wazoo. I'm going up to my boy, Nick Rolovich. Found him a quarterback. Jaden DeLauren has finally gotten a little bit healthy. He wasn't healthy last year. He hasn't been healthy at all this year. Finally healthy. Played the full game, 32 of 46, 399 yards. Man, he was inches away from 4 bills, guys. 3 touchdowns. Won the game outright to a really hot, really good Oklahoma State team. I'm telling you, when Rolo has a quarterback, it's just a different beast. Get used to learning Delores' name. Get used to seeing gaudy numbers. When Rolovich has a quarterback, guys, it gets gaudy. He gets a little crazy. And then the last one, I'm going back to my boys in Boston. I'm going back to UMass. I'm giving it to the running back, Ellis Merriweather, 39 rushes, 171 yards, 2 touchdowns, the biggest win of that guy's career, biggest win of that guy's life. These players will remember this night for the rest of their lives. Very, very proud of them. That's the recap. Let's get to week 7. Closing the book on week 6. It is done. It is buried. We'll never talk about it again. Except for we'll talk about it when we talk about these lines and what it matters. First game up, we got to start Tuesday night. So tonight, this show is the only show normally I've got like 3 shows to talk about most of these games. You get the opening line show, you get the big game show, and then you get the closing line show. This is it, guys. App State going to Louisiana. Louisiana is a home dog of 3.5 points. App State's good. App State looks much improved. Both these teams are 4-1. Both these teams' one loss is to a Power 5 team that had a lot of hype and a lot of excitement coming into the season. The one thing I got is App State's got 2 things going against them I don't like. Okay, I think if this was neutral site, normal time, I think I might like App State just a little more, not a lot more, a little more. App State's got Coastal Carolina breathing down their neck. They got them next week. Louisiana, don't have to worry about that kind of mess. And the other thing is it's the home dog. They're going on the road into a hostile environment. I think I like Billy Napier a little bit better. And so I would lean towards and no, that's not just true. I'm gonna give you a pick. I'm gonna give you a pick because it's my only opportunity to give you a pick for this game. I'm gonna give you Louisiana. I like Louisiana plus the 3.5. I think this is going to be a game where I'm going to have a little money line sprinkled on it. I wish I could have them for my round robin on Saturday, but I'm not going to get lucky because this is too early. But I'm not going to complain about Tuesday night football, guys. Just not. It's going to be spectacular. It's going to be amazing. I love every bit of it. The total's 55. I have no feel for that, no opinion on that. I'm not going to touch it. Moving on. Friday night, guys. Friday night. Clemson going to the Carrier Dome, going to Big Orange Stadium. Man, I feel like if Clemson wasn't coming off of a bye week, Clemson has to have spent the bye week getting ready, right? We cannot see the same Clemson football team that we've seen the first 5 weeks of the season. We just can't, correct? I mean, am I wrong? Am I missing something? They have to be better in this game. They have to come out of this game with their butts on fire, ready to play. Now, will they? Is Syracuse going to have anything to say about that or do about that? 2 very different programs. Clemson 3-2. Syracuse 3-3 doesn't have a conference win yet, okay? They're winless in conference. They've played a lot of close games, just took Wake Forest all the way to the brink, went into overtime, thought they had a shot to win it, thought Dino Holgorsen, oh my goodness, Dino Babers was going to pull off a miracle, a little upset, a little magic in the Carrier Dome, missed out on that with Wake. Can he keep this game close, though? This line opened up much bigger than I was expecting. I did not have this line being a 14-point line. It's a 14-point line, and the total, 44.5. You know how I feel about this. When you got these low-scoring games, I don't like laying that many damn points, because if you're not going to have a lot of points scored to begin with, it's really hard to beat somebody by over 2 scores. You know where I'm going with this. You know who I like, and you know who I'm going to pick. I've become predictable over the years. I'm an old man. I don't like changing my ways very often. I don't like Clemson. This year, it's really easy to not like them. All the other years, it's really hard. It's brave to pick against them in the past. Now, I'm just another guy betting against them. I'm laying the 14 points. 14, yeah, it's 14 even. I don't think it's 14.5. And I don't see it going up either. I think by Friday night, this line's going to be under 14, because I don't know how the betting public could see what we've known of Clemson. Unless you're like me. I mean, I do think Clemson's going to come out better than they've been all year. I do think this can't be the same Clemson team that we've seen all season. It just can't be. They had to spend the 2 weeks off, the bye week, getting their offense fixed. I think their offense is going to come out and look better. It doesn't mean I think they're going to come out and win by 3 scores. I just don't. So I like Syracuse in that one. That's my pick there. Next game up, game day for the second time in 3 weeks, which is just the least original thing that anybody's ever done. We've talked about this on the show before, guys. Game day is just disappointing the hell out of me with some of their decisions. They're going back to Georgia. They were just there 2 weeks ago. They're going back, all right? They're going back, and I think now it's justified. You got 2 top 5 teams here. You got undefeated Kentucky going against undefeated Georgia. You've got the number 1 team in the country, who I think Kentucky's going to be ranked probably 5th in the country, if I guessed. Not all the rankings have come out by the time I'm doing this show. They're definitely up there. They're in the conversation. They're both undefeated. This is the best defense in the country going up against probably the second best defense in the SEC. This is the best run team in the SEC in Kentucky, going up against a team that nobody in the world can run on. I'm really interested to watch this matchup. I want to see, can Kentucky keep this thing close? I thought this was going to be a big number, guys. I had in my head between 14 and 17 points, okay? That's where I had this game. Ooh, boys. I was shocked as all get out. This joker opened at 22.5 points. I think the books are daring people to just bet against Georgia. I think they're just saying, we're going to make the number bigger and bigger and bigger. And we're just daring people. Just bet against them. Just bet against them. See what happens. Last week, Auburn covered. Or if you got 14.5, they pushed if you got it to 14. I don't think I ever saw a 13 or 13.5 anywhere or anything smaller than that. So, therefore, I don't think anybody bet Georgia and won. This is a big number. This is a real big number. I think Mark Stoops has Kentucky rolling. And I don't think we got an upset situation here. I just think Georgia's defense is that good. Nobody's going to score enough points on them, I think, to beat them the entire season. But I beating somebody by 23, just the second best team in the West right now, in the East right now, maybe the second best team in the SEC. That's a little hyperbole. Alabama just lost, but you get what I'm saying. That's a lot. That's a lot to ask for. I would lean Kentucky. I feel like the books are begging you to lean Kentucky. That scares me to death. I won't be having an opinion on this game until later in the week. Next game up, Cincinnati. Made it in the top 5. Cincinnati, in a lot of people's eyes, number 3 in the country now. Ooh, they have firmly planted themselves in a playoff position. Somebody has to knock them off. Somebody has to jump them if they go undefeated, and then we have to justify why you jumped them, okay? They've got UCF coming into town. Now, before the season started, this seemed like a big game, okay? This seemed like this was going to be a huge deal. The problem is UCF not only lost a couple of games, but UCF lost their quarterback, lost their Heisman hopeful quarterback in Dylan Gabriel. And now I wrote the young kid's name down. Where are my notes? Right here. Mikey Keene. Mikey Keene's still trying to find his stride at UCF. Hasn't had a great game yet. I don't think he's going to have a great game in Cincinnati, okay? This defense just doesn't let you. I think they're one of the most complete teams in the country, all right? Are they the best offense I bet they're not a top 5 offense in the country. I bet they're not a top 5 defense. They might be a top 5 defense in the country. They're really good all around. I like Desmond Ridder. I think Desmond Ridder, in my opinion, second best quarterback in the game right now behind Matt Corral. And I think Cincinnati should have their way with them. Now, this number opened up big too. This number opened up real big. They're laying 20, okay? They're at home. They got a lot of momentum. It's in their best interest to put up style points to continue to kick the crap out of people. At some point in time, though, I think Gus is going to get Mikey rolling just because I trust – I don't know – I can't tell you that I follow 247 rankings or rivals or any of these other recruiting ranking things, and I can't tell you the depth chart of quarterbacks across the country, okay? I don't know who Mikey Keene is. Outside of I watched him struggle against Navy real bad and lose that game. I watched him not play great last week against East Carolina but get the W. All right, I think this kid's going to have a lot of problems come Saturday. But at some point in time, Gus is smart enough of a play caller and a coach to figure these things out. Can he keep it close? I'll be interested to see. I don't have an opinion right now on that game. Total's 57. I would probably tend to go over just because I just assume Gus is going to find ways to get points. I don't know how. It's hard to score against Cincinnati. Cincinnati's going to score a lot. If Cincinnati scores, 35, 40, then you just need Gus to get to 20, and you're there. We'll move on from there. The most exciting, the most entertaining game of the weekend, I don't think it's going to be close. I said last weekend, the most exciting, entertaining game of the weekend was going to be Ole Miss, Arkansas, and Oxford. Guys, I didn't tell no tales, okay? You're talking about a game that came down to a 2-point conversion attempt to win the game 51-52. Unbelievable football game. Ole Miss in it again. Ole Miss going up to Rocky Top. Ole Miss going up to my Tennessee Volunteers, baby. Josh Heupel, I told everybody, he's a good coach. He's a good coach. Don't hate this man. Do not crap on this guy until you give him a shot. He's going to put up points, and when he puts up points, he won't beat everybody, but he'll make your team interesting. He'll make everybody want to watch, and guess what? When he's better than you, he's going to not just beat you, he's going to roll on you. And I think this game's going to be crazy wild because I think Heupel, I think Hooker, you know how I feel about him and Hooker. I think Hooker and Heupel can put up a lot of points against his Ole Miss defense. Now, with that being said, those boys on the other side of the field, pretty damn good at putting up points, might be the best in the country at putting up points. The total opened up at 79.5. I'm just here to tell you, ain't enough points. It just ain't enough. Okay, but this is last week they broke triple digits. All right, I don't know that Ole Miss and Tennessee break triple digits, but I think we get pretty damn close. Okay, I'm gonna tell you 79.5, not enough. I'll tell you that right now. Ole Miss is a favorite by 3 on the road. Got a home team catching 3 points. If you made me take it, I'd lay the points with Ole Miss right now. I just think that offense is hot. I think they're too good. I don't know where Tennessee finds stops. That's the issue. I think Tennessee is exciting and fun, and I want to see this Tennessee team continue to grow and get better. I don't know where defensively they find any stops. I don't know that Ole Miss's punter makes the trip. I just don't. This is one of those situations where in baseball, like if you ever got an extra roster spot, you just add another pitcher. Like if you're Ole Miss, you just add another receiver or another offensive lineman. Like you save the roster spot for the punter because you just don't need him. You just go for it and just assume you're going to get it against this defense of Tennessee. Moving on, we'll get to the ACC. Let's go back there. These are two of my favorite teams in the ACC. These are two teams that I think they're in the conversation with Wake Forest. Not going to leave Wake out, but Wake is not in the conversations today. These are two best teams in the ACC, I think, outside of Wake, in the conversation. NC State going to Boston College. Love city of Boston. We're talking about Boston becoming the center of college football for a little bit. How about that? Bet you didn't think that would happen before the season started. BC catching 2 points at home against NC State. I think that line's right. I think that line's right. Before the season started, I said I think NC State could be the second best team in the ACC. Now, that was assuming Clemson was going to be the juggernaut that they are. They're not. I think NC State might be the best team in the country. I can't explain the loss in Starkville. I can't. You went on the road and you played a team at home that was desperate, not just for a win, but just that was starting to find their stride, okay? That it looked pretty choppy the first couple of weeks of the season. Excuse me. Didn't look great, didn't look impressive. And you came in, it was 9/11 weekend. They did this big patriotic memorial thing. Everybody was, it was a packed out house. The cowbells were ringing. I totally see how you could go into that atmosphere and lose that game. That makes sense to me. This is college football, guys. It's weird sometimes, okay? You leave there and you haven't lost since. And you've kind of kicked the crap out of a lot of people. And you're feeling pretty good. Coming off a bye week. I think that's pretty important. Now, BC is also coming off a bye week. So I don't know that it helps one team or another. Here's what I'm interested in. This is what we've got right here. We've got Dave Doeren, coach at NC State. Hell of a coach. Been around for a long time and has built this NC State team into the image in which he is wanting to play football. And I love what they are doing with the Wolfpack. You got Jeff Hafley. You got young, energetic, offensive-minded guy turning Boston College football around, finding ways to score points, finding defensive ways to slow teams down, which Boston College has done a long time. And one guy is a little bit of the, and I don't know, I really don't know either of these guys' ages. I'm really bad at that game, by the way. When I see strangers and people are like, how old do you think that person is? I'd be like the worst carnival person in the world. Like, I don't know, like 17, 38. I don't know. They both look the same to me. I think Dave Doeren, because I know that he's been around college football for so long, I think age, experience, wisdom, been here before. Happily, I think is unbelievable, lighting the world on fire. People in Boston are super excited. Well, people that care about college football, which is like 30 people in Boston. I think Hafley is looking for his lottery ticket. And Doeren is just trying to be the best Wolfpack coach he can be. In that situation, right now, today, I'd lean Wolfpack. Haven't made my mind up on that yet. There's a world where I don't touch this game at all, simply because I kind of like both these programs. I told you I'm a fan of both of them. I love both these coaches. The leaps that they have both taken over the last couple of years, pretty remarkable to me. We'll move on. Let's jump back to the Big 12, guys. Oklahoma, talked about their comeback win, amazing comeback win in the Red River rivalry game against Texas. And now they've got another team of Texas coming in. Listen, defense will not be played this weekend in this game. TCU going to Oklahoma. Oklahoma's laying 12 points. God, that's a lot of points. Total 65.5. I don't think that's enough points. Listen, guys, TCU is putting up points in bunches. They're able to score against moderately good defenses. Oklahoma's not even a moderately good defense, okay? They're just not. Everybody's scoring on them. Everybody's scoring a lot on them. And Oklahoma can score on everybody. Oh, yeah, by the way, Oklahoma found themselves a quarterback. Yeah, that's a shot at you, Spencer Rattler. Caleb Williams looks like he's the star that kind of people expected to have it at Oklahoma from the quarterback position. Now, here's the thing. Lincoln Riley, I'm not a fan of Lincoln Riley. I don't know how much you followed me. I used to be a fan of Lincoln Riley's, and over the last 2 years, I've lost a lot of respect for him as a coach and just a professional, okay? I find the hypocrisy of the transfer rules to be absolutely shameful, okay? And you can argue all you want that, oh, well, what he's doing is nothing. I don't care. If you take other people's transfers, if you gladly, willingly take other people's transfers, don't care where they come from, and then you try to block kids from transferring out of your school, I don't care where they're going. I don't care. If you're not using them and they want to transfer somewhere else, you're willing to take other people's transfers, but you're not willing to let yours go, I think you're a Hippocratic fool, okay? And I also think you're a piece of trash, by the way. But neither here nor there. I also think what he's doing, trying to coddle Spencer Rattler's ego by not giving Caleb Williams the credit, the celebration. This should be a new young king taking over his kingdom and being heralded as the new guy, okay? He should be crowned this week. This is what we should be talking about. They should be celebrating Caleb Williams. But instead, we're gonna put Caleb in the closet, but we want him to be our starter because he's the better quarterback, so we don't hurt Spencer's feelings over here. Well, yeah, no, that's not what we should be doing, okay? You got a leader over here that took that game over in the Red River. He came in the worst situation possible, down by a ton. His offense wasn't playing great at all. They're not just playing great, they stunk. They stunk the joint up, okay? And defense couldn't stop anybody. He said, I got this, guys. I got it. Get on my back. I'm going forward. And he was impressive in that game. We should hear nothing more about Spencer Rattler. If the media ask about him, they should ask about him one time, and you make it very clear we're very grateful for the things that Spencer has done. We love having Spencer on the team. Caleb is our new starting quarterback. If you have questions about Caleb, I will take them. I'm not talking about backups anymore. And you move on. But instead, you're going to try to play this little riding two horses with one ass situation so you don't hurt the other guy's feelings. That other guy's not as good guy. He's just not. He's not. Give Caleb Williams the game. If Caleb Williams is a starter and Caleb Williams plays every snap, I think Oklahoma should cover this 12 because TCU has just been so rocky and so weird all season. With that being said, I don't trust Lincoln Riley to make this decision. I think he's messing this up from just from what I see, and I can only see what he shows us, guys. Okay, I'm not in the locker room, and I don't have connections, and I don't have media credentials. I don't have any of that. Okay. I'm just a dude watching and listening to the same crap you guys are watching and listening to. And I'm telling you, he's going to try to keep Spencer from transferring. And so, because of that, something is in my throat. And I apologize. If I had a cough button that I can mute myself for, I would do that. That is rude, is unprofessional. And I'm just glad you're not in the room. Anyway, I think he's trying to protect Spencer from transferring. When you got a young stud like Caleb that looks this good, I wouldn't. Why do you care if he transfers? This is what I thought about with the kid from TCU that he tried to block. Like, if he's not very good and the guy you have is a lot better than him, why do you care that he transfers? I hope to play the guy because my guy's better than him. I know how to stop him because I know all his flaws because he's been on this team for a long time. What are you worried about? Anyway, that's my soliloquy on that game. And a lot of shots at Lincoln, I think, are fairly taken. But, you maybe not. I'm sure if you're an Oklahoma fan, you probably don't like them. That's okay. I'm sorry about that. I'm not really sorry. I shouldn't have said that because that would make me a liar. Next game up, I'm going to Auburn. I'm going to Arkansas. This game is going to be amazing. Fayetteville is going to be rocking. They've lost 2 in a row. They were undefeated. Got smoked by Georgia, was in an absolute dogfight for their life against Ole Miss in one of the most exciting games that we've seen all year. And now they get to come home. They get to go back into the friendly confines of Fayetteville. And that place is a beautiful atmosphere. The friendliest fans, they really are crazy. And they're just so welcoming and so warm. Auburn's coming in. Same thing. Got a couple of, they beat LSU. Got smoked, got beat up by Georgia pretty good, and now they're going on the road to Fayetteville. Let me tell you things I like about this game, okay? I think this is a couple of times this year we've had games that mirrored one another. Teams mirrored one another, like last week, Penn State, Iowa, mirror game. I think this is a mirror game. I think both these teams want to run the football. I think both these teams want to play big boy defense. It's hard to do that against a team like Ole Miss. But I do not think that the Arkansas defensive players have forgotten to play defense because they gave up 52 points last week. Okay? I just don't. I think this week is going to be a lot different. Okay? I like Sam Pittman a lot. I love KJ Jefferson. I think he's unbelievable. I think if they would have ran the ball in that 2-point conversion, he would have gotten the 2 yards and Arkansas would have been the winner, not Ole Miss. And I think the best player on the field is going to be Trey Burton. I think that Treylon is everyone keeps saying he's the best receiver in the SEC. That's probably true because I can't think of another receiver that's been as impressive as him. It's not just his abilities, though. This guy's physicality is pretty amazing. I mean, he's gigantic, and he's so athletic. He runs routes great. He's got speed. He's got power. He's got strength. Auburn doesn't have anybody that can guard him. Nobody does. Nobody in the country does. They're at home. This line opened up. Didn't even talk about that. This line opened up Arkansas minus 3.5. I think the hook is there to trick us, to scare us, to try to get everybody to bite on the Auburn thing. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to take Arkansas in this game. I have a pretty good feeling about this one. I like this Arkansas team a lot. I like what they're doing, and I think they're going to find a way to put up points. Here's what I also think. I also think the magic of Bo Nix is going to stop, because this is an Arkansas defense that when they get you, they tackle you. Okay, there is no getting out of tackles against Arkansas. There's no, like, against Ole Miss, guys just get wide open. Okay, but that's the scheme of Lane Kiffin, and that is, it's just a lot of weird things that happen in those games. I'm okay with throwing them away. I think you take what you can away from it. I think you work and you get better. But what's been making Bo Nix special is teams don't tackle him when they have him behind the line of scrimmage. And he breaks away. He's able to scramble. He's able to make chaos plays. And his offense knows how to come back to him to get big plays out of those. I just don't think that's going to happen against Arkansas. I might be wrong. Bo might smoke me another time. Okay, he's done it before. It probably won't be the last. But in this game, I like the Hogs. Moving on. We'll start rolling through the – oh, no, I only got 2 left. Don't have to roll very far. Oklahoma State going to Texas. Now, beating up on Texas a little bit because of the complete and utter debacle that they had falling apart at the Red River. This game is going to hinge upon Case Thompson's health. If Casey – I keep saying Case. Casey, I know his name's Casey. I apologize to his family and him. If Casey Thompson's completely healthy, I think I like Texas here. Short line, 5 points, less than a touchdown, more than a field goal, probably right with a healthy Casey Thompson. Now, I know he's going to go. I know he's going to play. You got a banged up thumb, and you're going up against the best defense in the Big 12, and it ain't close, by the way. Guys, if go look at the defensive numbers, go look at what Oklahoma State is doing defensively right now. It isn't close. Well, it might be close. Baylor's played some pretty damn good defense this year. I shouldn't have said that. I'm just assuming everybody else. Kansas State, they're a lot better than Oklahoma, Texas, TCU, Texas Tech, Kansas, Iowa State, everybody else. Oklahoma State's defense has been unbelievable. They got 2 weeks to prepare. Can Texas actually stop somebody? Oklahoma got a couple of running backs. You never know who Gundy's going to use, which is weird. You think he has a guy. You think that guy is going to be the number one guy, and he's going to, you got to try to stop him. And then he runs somebody else, and that guy runs completely different, and you're just not prepared. Gundy's kind of good at that kind of stuff. He's a sneaky rascal. Spencer has got to be better, though. Offensively, Oklahoma hasn't been good. They just haven't. They don't score a lot of points on anybody. They become a defensive football team. And I don't hate it, but I don't love it either, because I kind of miss the rattlesnake. I miss the old mullet. When that man cut his hair, things aren't going so well. Okay? I don't like that, and I don't trust it. I just need to see. They had 2 weeks to prepare for this Texas defense. Surely we're going to find a week where Oklahoma State can hang 40 on somebody, right? Like, it's all I want in my life. I want the things to be normal, okay? I want Wisconsin to be able to run the football again. I want Oklahoma State. I want Mike Gundy to drop 40 on folks. These are things that I want to see in my life. They've been a part of my life for 20 years, and now they're not. And it's weird, and I don't like it, and it makes me uncomfortable. Oklahoma State, plus the 5. If I think I don't feel great about Casey Thompson's thumb. It's a thumb on the throwing hand. So let me get back to that, because I was talking about it, and then I got sidetracked, and this is just, we're falling off the rails here. We got one more game, and then I'll shut up. If his thumb is hurt, but he is still playing, that's fine. But he's playing a great defensive football team, and at some point in time, I got to think they're going to hit that thumb again. And I'm working under the impression that by the fourth quarter, that thumb is not going to be okay. if it's not 100% going into the game. That's my logic. That's my thought process. If I feel like that guy's 100% and they can protect him, those are two big ifs. I like Texas, but I think he's that kind of a special guy. I think he's that special, and I don't trust Spencer Sanders. Now, if Gundy comes out and he grew the mullet back out in a week off and he is slinging the ball around and they're able to still play good defense while he can hang 40 on them, then I'll take the points. I'm probably going to end up taking the points anyway. That's a pick that we'll have to wait till we get closer to the game time. I can't give that one away, not because I don't want to tell you. I just don't know the answer. Let me get to the last game. Last game, also, mirror game. I love these games. When I think two teams are built a lot alike, I think it makes for an unbelievable matchup because they practice against the thing that they're going against all the time in their own team. And so, excuse me, I'm going to get through this show, I promise. Defensively, they should be exciting. Defensively, these two teams want to get after somebody, and they want to slow the game down. Problem is, both these quarterbacks, hot. Both these quarterbacks playing great right now. These are the two hottest teams in the Pac-12. It's not close, by the way. They are rolling. They're cooking. They're getting hot at the right time. The winner of this game is 100% got a stranglehold on the South. I think they're winning the South. I think they have stamped their ticket to play in the Pac-12 championship game. Cameron Rising, the new quarterback for Utah, finally had a breakout game last week. Looked unbelievable. Arizona State, on the other hand, just looked like a complete team. What was it, Friday night against Stanford? It was either Thursday or Friday. Just Jaden Daniels didn't look great, but he looked good. They ran the ball well with 3 different running backs. You know, their defense played unbelievable. They just look complete. Herm looks like he's got this team exactly how he wants them. This is a pick 'em. That's what it should be. It's a pick 'em. These two teams are even. These two teams are mirrored one another. I think they play a lot alike. I think it's going to be a wild atmosphere at Utah. I don't have a pick on this yet. This is a game I'm interested in. If you made me pick it tonight, I'd probably lean Arizona State. I got to think about that one. I'm going to let that one marinate because I like this game. This is going to be one of the most exciting games of the weekend. I think this is our Pac-12 After Dark game too, which I'm real excited about. Guys, I've gone long tonight. Thank you so much. It was a wild week in college football. I am so glad that you spend your time here. SportsReview.com. Go check them out. For them, my name is Christopher Giannini. I'll see you Wednesday night.